Good morning, friends. Ash here, WAT News, with some vaccine updates. I wanted to cover this as a separate incident because we've a separate newscast or coverage, just because we've covered a little bit in the past. I don't know if I'll put this up on YouTube at all, just because it probably will get taken down, even though I'm going to quote the CDC in the article in this newscast. So maybe I'll put it up on YouTube as an experiment to see, because how can you take my video down if I'm quoting the CDC's update in my video, which is the official source according to you, right? So anyway, I just saw this after I made my other dig on Justice Roberts and stuff and put that up. So I figured I'd check into it a little more. And we saw that two healthcare workers in Alaska, one of them had two of them had serious reactions when given the new Pfizer vaccine. And from Tyler Durden is on Zero Hedge is talking about this article here. CDC issues new guidelines, launches probe after thousands negatively affected following COVID-19 vaccination, by Tyler Durden. Thousands of people have been unable to work or perform daily activities or required care from a healthcare professional after getting the new COVID-19 vaccine, according to new data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. As of December 18th, 3,150 people reported what the agency terms, quote, health impact events after getting vaccinated. The definition of the term is, quote, unable to perform normal daily activities, unable to work, required care from doctor or healthcare professional, unquote. As the Epoch Times, Zachary Stieber reports, the people reporting the negative effects reported them through vSafe, a smartphone application. The tool uses text messages and web surveys to provide personalized health check-ins and allows users to quickly tell the CDC if they are experiencing side effects. The CDC and Pfizer, which produces the vaccine with BioNTech, didn't respond to requests for comments. The information was presented by Dr. Thomas Clark, a CDC epidemiologist, to the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, an independent panel that provides recommendations to the agency, on Saturday. And here we have it. COVID, Clark, ACIP, COVID-19 vaccines work group, anaphylaxis following mRNA COVID-19 vaccine receipt. And you don't want to be in anaphylactic shock, let me tell you. Not a good place to be. Could be lethal, actually, if remedies aren't taken quite quickly, right? If you go into anaphylactic shock, your airways could become compromised. You might need epinephrine or something to that effect to open up the airway and counteract it, right? I don't know if they use epinephrine for that. I'm not a doctor, but I thought that's what was used. So don't quote me on that. But again, anaphylactic shock I know is bad. I've actually been in shock. I was hit by a car when I was 25, and I'll tell you, once you go into shock, you know about it. It's not good. Not a good place to be. The CDC said that 272,001 doses of the vaccine were administered as of December 19. That means most people who were vaccinated did not experience negative effects. The CDC has identified 6 case reports of anaphylaxis or severe allergic reaction that occurred following vaccination with the new vaccine. Clark reported other case reports were reviewed and determined not to be of anaphylaxis. In an update on Friday, the agency stressed that anyone who has ever had a severe allergic reaction to any ingredient in a COVID-19 vaccine should not get that vaccine. Well, you should have told us that ahead of time, shouldn't you? People with severe allergic reactions to other vaccines should consult their doctor about getting the new vaccine, while those with a history of anaphylaxis not related to vaccines may still get vaccinated. CDC recommends that people with a history of severe allergic reactions not related to vaccines or injectable medications, such as allergies to food, pet, venom, environmental, or latex, may still get vaccinated. Venom? CDC recommends that people with a history of severe allergic reactions not related to vaccines or injectable medications, such as allergies to food, pet, venom, environmental, or latex, may still get vaccinated. Okay. So there's not venom in this, I hope. I don't think so. There's another snake reference, right? And if you looked at my other video, when we looked into the luciferase, which is the chemical that's in the squid ink or in certain creatures' ink that makes it bioluminescent, and I think they were going to use that for the tattoo for the Moderna, which is how it would light up under the infrared, like the little red lights, like a scanner light. And so they were going to make it go on your hand. That's what I read about the Moderna one. So now the question is, are they going to stop the Pfizer vaccine? Like, remember I just posted the thing with the psychic. They said that this isn't going to be allowed. And I think this is how it's going to stop because, like we were talking about, right? Like, you would have picked this up with the anaphylactic shock if you had done longer-term human trials that lasted 1, 2, 3 years, maybe longer, right? Where, yeah, we did, thousands of people went through this and we got anaphylactic shock again and again and again and again. Yeah, it's not good. We can't, So we'll see. Is this what's happening? We don't know that yet, but we're seeing more people have severe reactions who maybe, have a sensitivity to certain things. And the question then becomes, what's in this that makes me have that reaction, right? In other words, before you get this shot, am I allowed to examine the ingredients of this? Are you handing me the ingredient list of this so that I can sit down before I get it injected into my body, right, and read what's in it? Do I know that? And most times I don't think that information is allowed or given, right? If it's not, then why do you want me to shoot it into my body if I don't know what it is, right? Also, I heard an allegation about the Nancy Pelosi injection, because you notice all these people are coming out in public taking it, right? And Cuomo said he's going to come take it soon, and Pelosi took it, Pence took it, all these people are saying, yeah, I'll go in public and take it, but they said that when they were shooting Pelosi with the needle, that the cap was still on. But then she canceled her press conference later that day. I don't think she ever showed back up. So the question is, did she get the shot? Was the needle cap on or off? And if she got the shot, did she get sick? Did she have a bad reaction? We don't know yet. But we're seeing that some people are. People with a history of allergies to oral medications or a family history of severe allergic reactions or who might have a milder allergy to vaccines or no anaphylaxis may also still get vaccinated. Anyone who experiences anaphylaxis after getting the first vaccine should not get the second shot. Oh, really? That's a no-brainer. The CDC said COVID-19 vaccines are meant to be given across 2 doses spaced out about 3 weeks apart. Why wouldn't you just take HCl first if you had to take something at all, right? I mean, it just doesn't make sense what these people are doing. And you notice that I made a sort of a mistake. I thought the FDA had kept the HCl ban on, and in fact they reversed course and are now allowing HCl. But you didn't notice that when the interesting thing in New York was that Cuomo never mentioned that. All he kept saying was, hey, Moderna's coming and hey, Pfizer's here. What about HCl? How come you're not making that available to the public as well if the other things are being made available, right? So we're going to keep an eye on these governors in certain cities. Are you pumping out HCl as well as the other vaccines and giving the public that option now that the FDA has okayed it? Which they should have done from the get-go. And a lot of people got hurt because they didn't. That's going to come out later, I think, because it's pretty clear to me that drug has been being used for a very long time. And before that, they were using quinine, which is much less of a safe thing. So I wouldn't suggest using quinine, although there's quinine in tonic water, right? So people that are in the know, there's people that were making their own HCl. I don't know how to do that, and I'm not saying you should, but hopefully they'll inject the HCl into the system as well if it's now been cleared by the FDA, right? That only makes sense. And that's really a cheap drug, and it's $15. Now the question is going to be: does HCl help with other things, right? Does it cure the cold? Does it help with the flu? Does it help with all these other COVID viruses that are connected, right? Because the flu is a COVID virus, so the colds and stuff like that. Does it help? There's rumors it helps with Lyme. There's rumors that it helps with a lot of things. So, was the real push to get these out so fast to counteract the fact that HCl is actually a better alternative, right? And it's cheap and it's plentiful. And that's why these guys are pushing this crap out, and now people are getting hurt. That's just my take on it, guys. So, at least 5 healthcare workers in Alaska experienced adverse reactions after getting the Pfizer vaccine, the Anchorage Daily News reported. 1 of 2 experienced adverse reactions at the Bartlett Regional Hospital required treatment. For at least 2 nights, an Illinois hospital halted vaccinations after 4 workers suffered adverse reactions. So it's not isolated, right? It's not one place. It's all kinds of different places. We'll be looking at all the data we can from each of these reactions to sort out exactly what happened, and we'll also be looking to try to understand which components of the vaccine might be helping to produce them. Well, yeah, you should have done that in the trials before pumping it out to the public, right? You're telling me nobody... I had read that they had people, some instances of Bell's palsy in the trials. So if you saw Bell's palsy in the trials, why didn't you halt it? Why didn't you slow down and start investigating, right? That's going to be the question, and it's pretty obvious why, right? You rushed it out. You rushed it to market because you wanted to make money. A container of 5 doses of COVID-19 vaccine sits on a table at Roseland Community Hospital. Noting that he was speculating, Mark said it's known that polyethylene glycol, a component present in both the Pfizer vaccine and one from Moderna that regulators approved earlier in the day, can be associated uncommonly with allergic reactions. Yeah, that's not good. You don't want that stuff in your body. You don't want ethanol in your body, or ethylene, right? Which we could look into later. I'm not sure exactly. I've heard that term before. It's nothing good. And why do you got to put that in there, right? Why can't you put something good in there? So that could be a culprit here, and that's why we'll be watching very closely, he said, but we just don't know. Both vaccines, and let's see. Set that up real quick. We could take a second, right? Why not? It's going in your body. You might as well know what it is. Polyethylene glycol is a polyether compound with many applications from industrial manufacturing to medicine. PEG is also known as polyethylene oxide or polyhexethylene, depending on its molecular weight, the structure of PEG. The prescribing information, side effects. Why would you put this in, like, into a vaccine for? You know what I mean? It's used in manufacturing and all kinds of stuff. A white powder for reconstitution, polyethylene glycol. Doesn't tell anything about, like, negative effects, really. Pharmacology. Powder for oral solution in constipated patients resulted in incomplete and highly variable recovery. Clinical trials in 1 study, patients with less than 3 bowel movements per week were randomized. So they're trying to use this to, like, help people go to the bathroom. All right, well, why are you putting it into my, like, body then if I don't need that for a vaccine? I mean, so you can dig more into that. I went to also to check this out. This is from the Cloud, Anaphylaxis following mRNA COVID-19 vaccine receipt. Thomas Clark, MD. So that's that. You can go look into that. And I went to CDC, COVID-19 vaccines and severe allergic reactions, updated yesterday, December the 19th, 2020. CDC has learned of reports that some people have experienced severe allergic reactions, also known as anaphylaxis, after getting a COVID-19 vaccine. As an example, an allergic reaction is considered severe when a person needs to be treated with epinephrine or EpiPen. Right, epinephrine. So we got that correct. Or if they must go to the hospital. This page will be updated as quickly as possible when we get new information. If you get a COVID vaccine and you think you might be having a severe allergic reaction after leaving the vaccination site, seek immediate medical care by calling 911. Thanks, that's real helpful. I mean, I couldn't figure that out. If you have ever had a severe allergic reaction to any ingredient in a COVID-19 vaccine, CDC recommends that you should not get that specific vaccine. Okay, well, this is my point. Okay, here it is. The CDC has it. How do I know that? Are you giving me the full vaccine list? Are you giving me every ingredient that's in this thing before I get this injected into my body, then how would I know if I'm going to have a severe allergic reaction unless you give me that list? Now, I don't know. I haven't taken this, so I don't know if they give it to you. But it's been my experience that when you get these, that they don't. So how am I supposed to know if there's something on the list that unless I see every ingredient? If you had a severe allergic reaction to other vaccines or injectable therapies, you should ask your doctor if you should get a COVID-19 vaccine. Your doctor will help you decide if it's safe for you to get vaccinated. Right. How about this? Instead of, if your doctor's pushing this, why don't you say, hey doc, can I get HCl too? Is that just as good? How about that? Is that as dangerous? Hey doc, does the Moderna put a microdot nano stuff into my body, doc? Can you tell me that for sure? What's in the Moderna vaccine, doc? Can you tell me? I don't think they can. So, CDC recommends people with a history of severe allergic reactions not related to vaccines or injectable medications such as allergies to food, pet, venom, environmental, or latex may still get vaccinated. But still, you're not, you got to tell me what's in it. Then I'll know, right? Provided recommendations for COVID vaccine 19 providers are how to prepare for the possibility of a severe allergic reaction. And yeah, that's the other thing. What if you don't have any epinephrine on site? What if I go into anaphylactic shock on site? You don't have the proper thing. How long is it going to take me to get care, right? Because if it takes more than 5-10 minutes for me to get the 911 to show up, right, with the epinephrine, if you don't have it there, then that could be a problem, right? Depending on how bad you go into it. If your breathing's compromised enough, that might be too much time, right? Might be a goner. So we don't know that, but again, it's something to take into consideration, right? All people who get a COVID-19 vaccine should be monitored on site. People with a history of severe allergic reaction should be monitored for 30 minutes after getting the vaccine. All other people should be monitored for 15 minutes. It's not a very long window of time, is it? I mean, so in other words, if you, what happens if an hour later you start feeling real sick and you're already traveled somewhere, right? You're on a train, you're going somewhere, you're somewhere where you can't get help. That could be an issue, right? Vaccination providers should have what if you're driving, right? Something like that. Vaccination providers should have appropriate medications and equipment such as epinephrine, antihistamines, stethoscopes, blood pressure cuffs, and timing devices to check your pulse at all COVID-19 vaccination sites. So that's another thing. Do they have all that stuff? Is there enough epinephrine? Is there enough, of all these things? If you experience a severe allergic reaction after getting COVID-19, providers should provide rapid care and call for emergency medical services. You should continue to be monitored in a medical facility for at least several hours. Okay. CDC is monitoring reports of severe allergic reactions. If someone has a severe allergic reaction after getting vaccinated, their vaccination provider will send a report to the Vaccine Adverse Reporting System. VAERS, VAERS, is the national system that collects reports from healthcare professionals, vaccine manufacturers, and the public about adverse events that happen after vaccination. Reports of adverse events that are unexpected appear to happen more often than expected or have unusual patterns are followed up with specific studies. Here's VAERS. Important, if you're experiencing a medical emergency, seek 911. Anything about the vaccine or anything with an adverse reaction on here? Not really. Gotta search for it, I guess. Ensuring vaccine safety. Alright, so that's VAERS. And that's about it, guys. I just wanted to put this article, these articles out. Here's a Reuters article showing the same information. UK issues anaphylaxis warning on Pfizer vaccine after adverse reactions. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is coming out of Reuters. So, Britain's medicine regulator said anyone with a history. So now you have multiple countries, right? Now it's not just one place. It's not a couple of people in a hospital up in Alaska. It's multiple cities. It's multiple countries. It's multiple peoples. And this is all connected to the Pfizer BioNTech. So that's why I wanted to get this out there. I'm going to put it up on YouTube right now with the information that was quoted by the CDC, and hopefully it'll stay up there, and then I'll just put it up on the other sites, guys. All right. So I don't want this to be too long. I just wanted to put that out there. That update: UK issues anaphylactic warning on Pfizer vaccine after adverse reactions, and also in the United States, CDC issues new guidelines, launches probe after thousands negatively affected following COVID-19 vaccination. So with that, friends, I wish you well, and hope you're feeling well and doing well. Peace and love from Ash.